I forgot that bro, there's gotta be a way for me to pause this. Oh well. Shit, this is not gonna work out so well for me. Because I don't have the stuff that I need done yet. I completely forgot about it. Okay, good. We're still safe. We're still doing decent on time. Whatever. I am late. Crud. That's bad. Hello. I'm trying to. Shit. Everybody's just popping up and I'm not even ready yet. That's bad. Okay, at least I got those two things done. Hello. Supposed to get this. This isn't even the right one. Hello. I think the nearest subscriber. Okay, you know what? We'll roll with it. We'll roll with that one. Where is it? Thank you. Where is it? I am late to my meeting. Well, at least we got that. We know where that's at. We know where everything else is at. I don't know where my heck is original ones are. Okay, so we got all that. Hello. Okay, there's those. Okay. Here's a little intro. Hello, my name is Pumpkin, though most of some people on here know me as Novus or Echo. Now, if you looked at my newest post, I mentioned the Paradox Trials, but I didn't mention specifically what it is. Now is finally time for me to tell you. It involves 7 main characters named August. She goes by she, her, and she's 19 years old. We got Kyle, He goes by her, him, and they, and he's 20 years old. Blair is her, they, she, and her, and they are 17 years old. Rift is she, her, constellation, and she is 16 years old. Idina is, hello, her, them, she, and Demonol, hello, and she's 17 years old. We got Cry, who is her, it, she, and Crystal. Oh, bye. And she's 18 years old. And we got Nep, who's they, it's he. I'm 18. And that's 18 years old. Okay. The idea around the Paradox Trials was mostly simple. It branched out around my drawings. August being the first one to take stand. If you didn't look at her before I started, you'd think that I need to tape her down into the thing. Hold on, bear with me, guys. I was behind schedule, did not get a chance to take down these characters. I don't know why I don't. I'm behind schedule. Hold on. I'm trying to get stuff together. Nep and Cry just gonna have to suffer. Okay. If you didn't look at her before, it is about the Paradox Trials. This is an idea. Hello. This is about my own characters that I've created along this whole entire year. And I'll show you guys about this today. If you didn't look at her before I decided to involve her, you would see that, well, she looks almost like alien almost. And this is August. That was unintentional, really. She is an ocean dweller, and only that. Kyle's design was kind of funny. I asked my English teacher about this character design. I really didn't need like ideas upon what colors I should use. She gave me hair and body colors. Hello, new person. It goes by pink, purple, and turquoise. That's Kyle. I don't know why my hand is shaking. Why is my hand shaking so much? Pardon me. Honestly, Kyle was barely human to begin with. For Blair, I mostly wanted sun colors. That also reference to the Sunbird clan. That is Blair. Pink me. You're not at my house. Okay then, I'm not gonna question that. Mostly represents the Sunbird clan. That and it's also reference to the sun. Yeah, sun. Well, that happened to sun end. Rift. I love this character. For Rift, I somehow made it Earth themed. I kind of wanted a galaxy, but it's also cute as well. This is Rift. Why are you at my house? I feel concerned. Now, Idina was an interesting character to create. She basically has peanut butter character hair. Yes! That's actually my YouTube channel name. So you know what? That works as well. Idina basically has peanut butter color hair. This is, actually no, it's Idina. I care about it. So if you don't like it, you can go. And jelly sandwich to this point. So those were the two few people. Now, I've not gotten the chance to get Nep and Cries done yet. And I did accidentally cut them off the first 2 times. So this is a new character design. There you can see as this portion. Oh, thank you. See, this portion is Nep. And you can see on this portion, this is Cry. The top, there's got. Who cares? You wanted to watch it, Nikki. Now you can. Then you're here. I don't understand why you're saying these things, but you're here anyway, so now you can deal with the consequences of being here. The body aren't there. Sadly enough, Ninja, the body's not gonna be there in most of my drawings. Okay. So here's the main lore upon this. The Paradox Trials. It is set based in 1287 to 2298. So basically, by each generation, it goes by B9 or something to do with the B. So currently into 1298, we are in generation 9. So there's your little bit so you guys understand that better. August. She was born in 1111. So that was whenever she was around, I think that was whenever she was like, I don't have that. Where's that paper? Oh, well. I think she was, where'd that paper go? I got so many papers here and I still don't have the age paper. Where's the age paper? Oh, gosh. Well, we know that. Yeah, I'm aware. Nikki. Okay, we're just gonna skip over age characters for now and we'll figure that out in a few bits because I need to figure that portion where that's at. August. Her natural blue hair, her natural blue skin. Where did characters fucking go? Why is everything, there it is. August. Her natural blue skin helps her blend in with coral and natural color in a natural ocean environment around her. Her amber eyes help her ward off predators who tries to hurt her. She lives in supernatural terrorist territory realms. This is August. I don't know why it's. She is Paradox Trials inmate number 1. And she also goes by Supernatural Terrors. That's her card. This is the front of the card. The Paradox Trials inmate file year 2298 contains 7 files of people. It's okay. Let them. I'm just going to ignore it. Kyle. Kyle was the second inmate to the Paradox Trials, and he was born in 1224. He is known as the Living Nightmare. This here is Kyle. Their hair is made up of doll strands of her victims. Due to her eye sockets being mostly infected and nearly blind, she stole her current pink eyes from a lovely maiden named Kalsa. His original skin was pale, but later got turned turquoise because of the drowning in the deep sea near the ocean parasol, turning him into a living nightmare of the sea. Blair. Blair is a creature of the sun. Their loud and fierce nature comes from her teacher, Miss Crimber. They're a bit of a firecracker, but they mean well. Her hair is made up of half the sun. Being the last remainder of the Summerday clan, her tan skin comes from. Actually, never mind. Her tan skin can turn blood red when she's crying due to the tears burning her very insides, tearing her body apart. She is the third Paradox Trial inmate, and she was born in 1039. Where in the world is the rest of them at? There's. You will see as the story goes on, but the Paradox Trials do get very difficult in that portion. I do got a tiny bit of lore to it. Oh, actually, yeah, you know what? I found the papers. I'm not going to dox myself. Why would I dox myself? I'm not that stupid, Nikki. Rift. Rift has a knack for misfortune. Though it is true that sometimes she is lucky to avoid Idina's wrath. When their rival isn't protecting them, that is. Rift is known as the Nebula constellation. Fun fact, she isn't known for violence in her past days till January 12th, 1968, when the Paradox Trials first began. That's a good question. I don't know how to say that portion. And there's some things I've not fully fleshed out yet, but you'll see as time goes on, Nikki, that during all of this, there's so many trials to the point where you'll see. Rift started to become more violent as to keep Idina from joining the trials, because she knew once her rival joined it, Idina would have been on death row. So this is Rift. She is Paradox Trials inmate number 4, and she was born in 1241, and she's known as the Nebula constellation. And this one is Idina. Idina wasn't always their rival. In fact, there was a time that the Demonals and the constellations were working alongside each other. But that was back before the trials even existed. Her hair is made up of Endurian stuff. She doesn't really have eyes or really need for them due to dummies having extremely good hearing. Also, due to a loss in pigmentation in her skin, it turned pure white. This is Idina. The Paradox Trials inmate number 5, and she was born in 1240, and she's also known as the Demi Protector. Cry. Cry is a crystal. Her dark blue hair mixes a white crystal in it. Due for a knack of shiny objects and people. And that's what led her to Nep in the first place. Fun fact, Cry is a journeyer. She travels from place to place, into the blink of an eye, actually. Due to light fixtures, of course. That and the sun is made up of light. Her skin is made up of crystals, so it kind of makes it hard for her to get hurt. This right here is Cry. I've not gotten a chance to cut them out. Cry is the Paradox Trials inmate number 7, and she was born in 1110. She's also known as the Journeyer. This is her little thing. I've gotten the other thing. Nep. they didn't want to be found by the crystal is that he didn't want the girl to be scared of his face. Due to it being an anthology creature, not related to Greek mythology, keep in mind. His kind typically sheds their eyes when they turn 9. When they turn 9 years old. About that, you'll see later on, Ninja. You literally will see later on. Well, actually, I don't have the human characters for this. They get mentioned upon it. But typically shed their eyes whenever they turn 9 years old. Fun fact, he can still see. When he had his eyes, he was physically blind. So in a way, whenever us humans have eyes we can see, is the complete opposite for Nep in his kind. They cannot see when they have their eyes. Nep was a special case. His hair that was black and green. Did whoever have bright shiny bits of color in his hair? No wonder cried instant crush on him. That was a side note. In it, which caused him to get exiled from his own home. This right here is Nep. And now we are going to be getting into the realms and the culture to it. The Paradox Trials. The Paradox Trials was formed to control the death rate of the Game Thor's kingdom. I'm sorry if I accidentally messed this up currently. That and the upperclassmen. In fact, the first few people who created it was in fact humans. It has many rounds and levels meant to torment people's minds. Here is a little see-through of 2 of the levels. Mind Race. You got to fight your own demons and fears all at once. And the Soul Crusher. Literally crushes your body and in doing so steals your soul. And that's the segment there. Fun fact, the Paradox Trials was created in 1968. I even have a little picture upon that. I just need to wrangle up. I got so many shit around here. And these are the few trials. And I will explain them to you in a bit. After I pull up the rest of the stuff. Supernatural Terrorist Territory. I got like 3 whole maps upon this. It is a mouthful, I know. It is the home of the dwellers that torment the lives around them. Precisely why they cannot be around their own kind, and they all isolate themselves. Simply being in a room with each other is instant death. And I'll show you guys that portion. The Ocean Parasol. The ocean parasol is a pearl that has lived in the great tides for near centuries. From the great lands, it birthed the very ocean that the supernatural terrors live in. It has a properties to turn anyone into a monster, whether they wanted or not wanted to. That's a little insight upon Kyle. The Summerday Clan. The clan had coexisted with the crystals in the mythology realm for more than centuries. But since the original 7 got killed by the trial hunters, it has since been disbanded. Constellations. They have burned since the beginning of time, guarded by the Demonals. The constellations are the weakest link to the galaxies, but also hold it together. But because of numerous invasions on their kind, the Demonals have taken it upon themselves to protect the constellations. I am failing at this. Why, English? But as of late, the nebula constellation and the Demi have gotten rather tense in each other's way of communication with each other. Now, the Deminals have a longer segment, which I don't know why. I fully fleshed that out, so that makes sense. The Deminals. They were the first discovered in the realm in 1224 B1, so this is the first generation of them. When Crystal and Mythology teamed up to search for a home base. That is when they discovered Demon Land, the home for demons and Endurians. They have coexisted way before they met anyone else. But it was then that Nep and Cry had run into the demons and Endurians' secret. They had long since mated. That's what created the first generation of Deminals, but they soon found out why they were created. There was a whole different nation in the heart of the realm, protected by hidden mountains and deserted landscapes that only demons and Endurians kind could traverse through. That is until they bonded and created the Deminals, those whom could enter and move freely. While Nep and Cry were following one of them, they came around the constellations. It was then that they realized that this wasn't the end of the Khan bloodline. Now we're going into the Khan bloodline. It was the star-based constellations, many of which were thought to be dead after the Bloodline War. But that would have been proven to have failed due to the many survivors. The fight was brutal, too many deaths, leaving 19 out of near thousands alive. Most of them still children. Only one of the elders survived to tell the legacy. The amount of deaths were tragic. Here's the constellations Martin of currently now time. Constellations, Council of Stars. This was the first council to exist at the time. It was used mostly high experienced elders till they died in the Khan Bloodline War, which set the stage for Conley's great-grandmother named Nana. Now, Nana's story is quite difficult to explain due to the fact that she was a figment to everyone's imagination. Around March 19th, 1427, 9 out of 15 children died. 2 to freezing to death, 4 to poison ivy, 1 to poison berries, and the last 2 to starvation, leaving 6 children alive. As the numbers dwindled down, it was clear that they needed shelter and fast or they were going to die here. That was a segment of what basically happened during the Khan Bloodline War. There was one person who was basically non-existent. That was that elder. Conley was that elder that barely did not even exist. So that was a funny hit that I discovered that I wanted to do. Here's a little bit of crystals. Crystals are typically known for their love for shiny stuff. Fun fact, they live in a monarchy. Each class has a job. Peasants live in less hostile environments and shielded by the guards, while the journeyers go out and look for objects that could be of use. They cannot enter the kingdom once they leave. So basically, about that portion, they are basically exiled from their kingdom. Take with a grain of salt, you read more about that. They travel via light fixtures. Now we got Nymphology, which is where Nep comes in to play. That was my grandma. She's perfectly fine. Nymphology creatures typically shed their eyes when they turn 9 years old. Don't worry, it's Not painful, except when they turn 10 and don't shed them, that's when it hurts. When their eyes fall out, they can see when they actually do count. Fun fact, they are unable to see when they have eyes. They're mostly blind till they turn 9. Not to mention that they're very judgmental towards their own kind, let alone other kinds. Nobody knows why. I don't even know why. And I created this. Demons! They can live up to around 90 years old. Crazy, right? Well, that's normal that they've lived around Endurian since, well, forever. Due to mating in the late 23rd century. Well, 23 century. That is when Demonals started to exist. Keep in mind there's a whole entire timeline that are created as well. Endurians. They mostly live and born in Demonland. Only 95% of the population leaves. And are often forced into marriages when they're first born. When they literally are babies, they get forced into marriages. Luckily, none were found to be toxic. So both basically demons and Endurians, when they're born, the truly babies, both of them, they get forced into marriages. At least they're not toxic. Thankfully, that is. Their hair can grow up to 19 centimeters every minute, which is why they are constantly cutting it. Their hair can either be made into wigs, blankets, tablecloths, even furniture. But most of the time they're made into Endurian stuff. They are highly accepted in same-sex marriages as long as they meet the partners first. We got Demonland. It is the home for demons and Endurians. Both kind of lived in each other's land for more than 19 years. Endurian stuff can be made into hair or rugs depending on hair quality or if it's healthy enough. We are dealing with high winds where I'm at. So, why? Oh my gosh. The Outlands. There are two types of Outlands. The first one that I'm talking about is literally the first ever Outlands that came to exist. It is a place for people who will never belong in their own civilization, so they create their own. That is for 10% of the population goes for nymphology and crystals. Which is sad, actually. Now we got the trial hunters. They kidnap people who are on the files and bring them into the trials. If they don't comply, they get killed. That goes for both trial hunters and the people in the files. Death Runners Elite Team. They normally got to collect the bodies from the Paradox trial rooms. And you guys seen a bit of the rooms. So, I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the characters. These are whatever the main... We got like 3 of them that are children. The first one right here is Blair. This one is August. And then down here is Kyle. Right over here is the Ocean Parasol. That is a Pearl. Now if we turn this over, here's this Supernatural Realms logo. And then here is the whole entire map. This is a map of this new generation, which is the 9th one. And then you could clearly see where some of the things tell us. The biggest one is right down here is the Paradox Trials. This right here is the constellations. Demonland. Over here is the Outlands. Nymphology. Somebody Clan. Over here is when the Khan Bloodline War happened. Supernatural Terrors, Great Sea, and right up here is where the pearl is. Now if we go lower, this is the realms in 1287. And that's what they used to look like, without the Paradox Straussen. The ocean, the sea was right here. The Khan bloodline was existing around the time. The Anthology, Crystal, the Outlands, and the Summer Day Clan. That all existed back then. We did not know about the crystal or the actually we knew about the we did not know about constellations until later on. The Outlands also did not exist back then. Now we are going to be getting into the Paradox Trials. Well, this is the level portion. Tormented area. Mess with minds and cause destructive issues to the body. Drowning bliss. You get chained to the ground and shot with that prosthetic, which basically paralyzes your whole entire body while you drown, and you cannot move a single inch. Paradox. It is a full-on paradox room mirrors. That's basically what it is. The soul blare, a sound wave will make your body immobile as it continues to break your eardrums. So you would end up having blood literally pouring out of your ears as something literally pounds into your ear socket. You get the soul crusher, crushes your body, leaving gore and crushed organs. Toxin protocol, it literally makes your body burn alive with dangerous chemicals and acid. We got the breaker, which destroys your body. Mind race, fight your demons and fears all at once. Bones of Flesh Valley, it tracks all the bones and literal flesh. You gotta walk through it all. That's basically gives you traumatized fully. We get the maze, as good as may sound, it's the end of the line. So the maze is how like normally mazes are currently. It's just like funny things or like horror basically. But the maze we have in here is extremely different to what we have now. This one is literally, you're basically just dead meat as soon as you sat in there. You get no second chances, literally none exist for you. I believe that's not the right timeline. Where's the timeline? We are searching for the actual timeline, basically. Where's the timeline at? Okay, we got the timeline. So, B -00, which is basically before any of the other generations, to B -100. Constellations were officially founded in the time, in that the officially founded in that time, which was one of the first councils to exist. I started this year basically. I believe it taken me up like a month, I'd say, or maybe 2 months. I don't. Well, let's see, because I think I may have like. A lot of these things don't really take that much time unless I don't even think I even got like a time frame. Thank you. I did this Paradox Trials timeline like yesterday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I started this yesterday. B0, which was before Generation 1, demons and Endurians start mating in 0 to 19. So we get a certain time frame right here that follows. So the first ever generation, we get the Outlands were founded in 1198. That happened in B1. So that's a little bit after the 0119. Now we're going to go into B2, which is the second generation, which when the Supernatural Terrors territory started. And that was in 2123. Then we get B3, which is the third generation. That is when the Summerday clan disbanded in 1247. We get B4, which is the fourth generation, which is when Demonos started appearing more frequently. That is in 1255. We get the fifth generation. Demonos officially were fully developed and created in 1427. B6, which is the sixth generation. Crystals have never really been found by anyone but started to exist around the late 1500s. We get the seventh generation with nymphology creatures. They never leave their homes unless exiled, but that's rare in the 1600s. The eighth generation, the second Outlands were founded in 1199 due to the first one getting discovered. So I did mention that the first one did get found, but the second one will not get found. The ninth generation. The Paradox Trials first began but didn't fully exist till January 12th, 1968. That is also whenever Rift began to get a little stir crazy because she did not want Idina to... No thank you. The man next door. No thank you. So we now get between timelines. There's only two of them that I've written down. So between B0, which was before the generation started, and the first generation, the Demonos start to begin getting discovered. Then we get the third generation to the fourth generation. The Khan Bloodline War begins and ends at the fifth generation. Now we're getting insight upon the children version. I only do have, I believe, I don't even think I even got, no, actually, no, I got all their designs. Okay. I can agree with that one, Ninja. So, we'll see how these characters go. So, during this one, you will see. So, August. We know that their birth year is the 1111. And I'm going to show you what they looked like back then. This is August when she was a child. Right there. She was 5 when this happens. When they actually do log this into a file. I am getting notifications like crazy. August wasn't a normal child. Her first breath of air wasn't even that, it was water. Her eyes were a gift of the sun shining down upon the ocean parasol, as most of her kind gets born from it. Then we go on to Kyle. This is what Kyle looks like now. He is 6 at this time. And his birth year was 1024. Kyle was technically born without eye sockets, no nose, and half his ears. While I actually did mention this back then, and I can mention it again, it did slightly mention this in the lore, due to her eye sockets being mostly infected and nearly blind, she stole these current peak eyes from lovely maiden Kelsa. You'll see how far this thing goes, because it gets pretty bad. No. Well, it's actually difficult to understand. Where in the world? Where? Oh, it's over here. It's basically we go by human ears, but each of them have their own thing. I don't know how to explain it. So, here's the thing about Kyle. Kyle was technically born without eye sockets, no nose, and no ears. Oh, actually, no, half his ears. So basically, his ears got cut off like this. He has no nose, so he basically just imagine the fact that you have no nose and there's flesh covering it. And it's just like pink flesh. The same goes with your eyes, it's just literally just pink flesh. Like just covering up your eye sockets. So it's not a fun time. So it was no wonder that he chose to search for the ocean parasol. On his way there, a maiden gave him a choice. Either take this surgery or die. That was Kelsa. And that's the reason why he stole the eyes from her. After she made him take the surgery. So yeah, it's interesting. Then we have Blair. This right up here is Blair. She was born in 1039. And here's the thing. Did you know when Blair was younger, her hair used to be a whole lot brighter? Well, it was, due to how long she was out in the sun when she was born. Now this is going to be a fun time for me to search where the other guys are at. Okay, I found them. That was quite easy, actually. We got Rift. Her birth year is 1241. She is right up here. She looks way different than she does in this current timeline picture. And you'll see why. Hello, the Co. Rift was born in 1241. When Rift was a child, her natural hair was orangish red. Fun fact, half her face was burned in a fire in her old house. I can understand why she looks like this now. So that was not a fun time. Then right here we have Idina as a child. That's her. So Idina's birth year is in 1240, 1 year before Rift was born. As a child, Idina didn't really trust many people. That was the exception for Rift. The nebula constellation warmed her heart, literally warmed it. And then, I don't know, do I have anything else? Actually, yeah. No, I'm out of school. I don't have school today. Then we got a little segment right here. Conley. So we do know for a fact that Conley did not exist. Well, actually, no. Her great grandmother, Nana, did not exist. No. This is my last year of high school. I'm in 12th grade. So this is Conley, better known as Connie. Connie is best known for their leadership for the Constellation Council. As we know that the Constellation were in a council. Then we have Kenley. better known as Ken. Ken was a stowaway from the Crystal location after he boarded one of the anthology creature's boat. I wasn't. I hope did not sound rude when I said that. I'm sorry if I did. I'm not trying to be rude at all. Oh shit, a lot of stuff's on. So this was around the time that Nep and Cry started to go on that mission to. Okay, I'm glad to know it's okay. Whenever they went around to that mission. Good God! What is this wind? Jeez. Shake the whole entire house, why don't you, wind? This is whenever they followed the Nymphology and Crystal. So this is whenever Nep and Cry went on that mission to, how do I not know this one? I created this AU and I still don't know it fully. I gotta go check. I ain't dealing with this wind. I mean, I have created a few books, but I never published them. So far, those books are in one of my. I don't know where they actually are at, but I would need to. Well, actually, I know where they're at. They're in my bag. So maybe one of these days I'll read it to you guys. But currently, yeah, this is whenever they met the Deminals. Okay. But books do take a lot of time, and most of my stories have a certain like way they're put. And if I were to actually make a book, they like most of the words would just end up being fixed. That's one of the worries that I have. And plus they also do take a lot of time to create. Back on track. And followed an anthology creature around. He kind of did run into the priestess. The constellations, basically Conley's mother. So I think this might be all of it. Well, actually, I could read a tiny little segment of it that I've started off. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it or not. But basically, what I was thinking beforehand was that they go to each POV. So the current POV we got right now is Rift. Second POV would change to Idina. Well, actually, I don't know why I did not show you this one bit. I forgot to show you guys the trial map. No, I'm not dating anyone. So this is the trial map, and that's in 1947. Toxin Protocol is right here. Then we got Mind Race. Bones of Flesh Valley. There's the Maze. It's right here, the yellow bit. Drowning Bliss is the pink one. Torment Area is the literal center, dead set center right there. Paradox. Soul, I think, is that Soul? Yeah, that's Soul Blair right here. It's too dark. We got Soul Crusher and the Breaker. And then we got Bloody Mess. I'll be able to show you guys how basically some of this stuff looks like. So this is the maze currently. Then this is Toxin Protocol. We got Mind Race, Paradox, Drowning Bliss. We got Breaker right here. You see all the organs and the stuff. Then we got Soul Crusher. That is the few that I've actually drew. Hi, Grandma. You want to see it?
What are you doing?
Lore! What is Mind Race? Mind Race is... I need to find that lore sheet. Why is everything on this deck? Everything, I need to look for it. Mind Race is when you gotta fight your demons and fears all at once. So you're trapped in a room, basically. And you have to deal with these guys coming at you. All your greatest fears, all your demons that you have inside of you, you're basically fighting them. There's a little bit of a song currently. Yeah, you're right. That is wild. That is the sink. That is the water from the dishwasher. So basically, you have to find a map once you're in there, or else you're just straight up dead. And along Johnny Bliss isn't much you think about it. You'll be chained to the ground and drown in just 5 seconds. How do you find the map? That is a good question. So the map isn't in like the dead center, I think. It's like in the control room. And this is the whole entire map, what it looks like. This is basically the map, but the map for them is fully fleshed out. I'm just looking to see if I messed anything else in here. I don't think I have, but just in case, I'm rechecking. Yeah, I believe that is all of it. This isn't even a jersey, this is a t-shirt. Okay, here we go. Here we go, I found a bit. Okay, so here we go. I found a bit of this thing that I missed on some of the stuff. So this is for Idina. As a child, Idina didn't really trust many people except for Rift. The constellation warmed their heart, literally warmed her heart. For Demonals, when they are born, they are naturally cold. Okay, more like freezing. So when Rift met who was going to be protecting her, the two kind of just clicked instantly. And the Demonal took a liking to her right off the bat. Now, this last part is going to be... Well, actually, the last two parts are not going to be fun to hear. I'm not in a wheelchair. I just don't feel comfortable with standing up. Do I have to explain to you why I don't feel comfortable with standing up? Must I need your permission to? Did I ask? No. No. And besides, it's not even the stuff that I would actually show anyways. You're kinda weird. Who walks into a person's stream immediately right off the bat and asks, can you stand up and do a 360 so we can see your outfit? That's kind of weird. Not gonna lie. Oh, that's fine, Ninja. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'm not letting any of this stuff to get to my head. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty defensive. So, here it goes. Ignoring that right off the bat. So this portion is Nymph. Why do I call it Nymph? It's Nep. At first, nothing could be said when Nep was born when he turned 9 years old. Then he could finally see, only to get exiled at just 15 years old. So that's pretty tragic. You see at 9 years old, then you immediately just get exiled. Say bye-bye off on your own at 15 years old. Well, at least it's not whenever you're 5 or 6 or even in 3. So, at least the people in his... Well, at least his kind doesn't do that kind of stuff. Going off of this portion, for Cry, at just 17, she went on a journey only to discover that she couldn't go back home as the person at the gate told her she couldn't come home. So she gets exiled at 17. I don't know why they're like this. Most of all my characters just get nudged off. And here's a little bit from the actual storyboard that I have currently. What you doing? Oh boy, here we go, everybody. TV time.
So I don't hear that wind blow.
I'm sorry, but if you just get... Actually, you know what? That's pretty good. Honestly, one could say that she shouldn't be locked up. Others could care less. Rift did a lot of damage and trouble to the Gathering. For once, she wished to experience more of the realm. But due to the upcoming trials, that wasn't allowed. She could only wallow in pity as her rivals spoke to the other guards. Thank you, Ninja. I will see you next time. And I also don't know when I'll go live again. We'll see one of these days. But have a great rest of your day. What do you watch? Murder, She Wrote? Okay. Christmas. Oh, I thought that said Purge, Grandma.
What?
I thought that said Christmas Every Purge. I think that's it. That would be an interesting show, actually. Here we go. Ryla spoke to the guards, trying to reason with them to lower the girl's sentence in her room. Somehow that worked. Idina had always saved her when she got locked up as punishment. Though it seemed harsh, the upper constellations were only trying to protect her, even if their ways made her more insane with solitary. And with no one to talk to, it only got worse. There was a quiet grunt of annoyance as she heard Idina's voice for the first time this year since she got locked up. You really have gotten yourself in huge trouble this time. You really have gotten yourself in trouble this time, Rift. Not that Idina could care, but this was starting to get tiring. I know, and I really am trying not to. Idina shook her head at the weak voice of her past friend. Are you, though? Are you really? She said with a scoff. Because it really seems like you're loving solitary confinement. You do realize the more you get in here, the less you make you worthy of this title. Rift merely kicked the wall. She couldn't give a damn about her title. All she cared about was keeping Idina out of the trials and safe. And it's clearly working. So this was Idina's POV, and there's only like a short margin of it. Idina let out a sigh of stress. How could she be so stupid to think that Rift would even listen to reason? The other had been so stubborn for the past few days, so of course Idina could understand the girl's reasons. But God, can you please just talk to me for once? Rift, Idina said with a frustrated bang to the door. Normally she wouldn't get this mad, but there was something about Rift that could make her crazy. Idina could hear the other female tuck her up against the door. Finally, she let out a sigh of relief for the first time in a good long while. She closed her eyes to take a breath, but immediately passed out due to exhaustion. Her energy was fully depleted. If anyone were to see the demo right now, her whole life would be decimated within mere minutes. Her reputation would be destroyed. That is all of it. And that was the full Paradox Trials, what we have currently. I just got done reading my half lore story. Well, actually, more lore rather than actual story. If you want, you can re-watch the stream since I'm just finished it. And the stream should be done like a few minutes after I get everything all together. To already put back in my bag for more things coming up soon. But anyways, I do hope you actually do enjoy that. But I'm going to be heading out now, and have a great rest of your day, everyone. See ya.